Hi there, family. I'm back for part two of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and just pull my notes back up here for you. And so what we were talking about was marriage, and just make sure my mic is. So we were talking about marriage, and I'm just going to go ahead and go to my next point here. Let me get my notes pulled back up for you. And the next point that we're going to actually go into is going to be the character. So the character of a person, okay? The character. And I'm going to start this part off. So whenever you meet a person, okay? So I'm going to start from the feminine aspect. So as a female, when we, and I'm just going to go in general. So we are taught to look for the person who is, driving a certain car or dressed a certain way or, just certain things, right? And just looking a certain way. They can't look too, beat up or too worn down, whatever. And that's what we're taught, right? And I knew from a young age that this is, I don't know why I just knew this, but I guess it was because I grew up with my uncle. I grew up with my uncle, and I would always hear the guys like talking. And so I think I kind of grew up with a little bit of insight on how guys would look at, females. And so this is what we look for, what most females would look for. And so as a man, we're taught to look for, a certain look, a certain type, a certain build or whatever. I'm just giving a few names. So they have to, have a certain few things about them, but not too much or whatever. But and this is just the basic thing, right? And I'm gonna go into a little bit of depth here. So when it comes to the person that we're looking for, so once we start to peel back those layers, as if the person is like similar to if you have ever peeled back an onion. An onion has layers, right? Most if you have a fruit, most fruit have cores, a seed. And so once you peel back those layers, once you're trying to get to the seed or to the core would be the person's character. And no matter how good they may look to you, no matter how much money or how many nice cars or how many trips or flowers or gifts they may lavish you with, once you get to the core of that person, this is where you're going to decide if you're able to fully commit to this person. And I think this is why we see so many people that you would not expect to be together. And it's probably because they have gotten to the core of many different people until they have found their person. And so we have been taught to look on the outside. And this is for both men and female, whenever we're looking for our person. And that's not the way that God has created us. And like I mentioned I believe in a short or another video, your soulmate who God has ordained you to be with, that has already been ordained. But you can go through cycles of being with people that you are not supposed to be with. And that could be because you have not become the person that you need to become. And so I noticed that when I started to walk more with God, even in our relationship, and I was talking to my husband about this yesterday, when I started to care and love myself, because I learned how to love myself best when I actually started to develop my relationship with God. I thought that I could only be loved because whenever I was growing up, I received love from my grandmother. And, I didn't know that there was a such thing as God actually loving us. And I remember she would always take us to church, and my mother would always take us to church, and we would sing, like different songs and things like that. But there is a certain kind of love that God has for us. And once you experience that, once you see how much your father like loves you and how much your father just cares about you, it's easier for you to love yourself, because you understand that this is the kind of love that I need for me, that you're going to actually attract to. But also, it's going to be easier for you to do the things that you need to do for yourself, because you're going to love yourself that much more. And a lot of us, we walk around because we don't have a relationship with God. We don't know how to love. And like the Bible says, is that we love because he first loved us. And just like with my grandmother could not love me if she didn't know who God was, because she wouldn't even know how to show love. We don't know how to show love until we actually have that relationship with God. And anyone that has shown us love, that we perceive as love and we feel as love, because sometimes we can perceive something as love and it's not love, but if we know in our heart that we are receiving love, then that's because that person has either developed a relationship with God, or either a relationship with God has been passed down through other people that have loved them. But love simply comes from our Father. And I'm going to move to the next point here. So the nuclear family is built on, you have the mother or the father, the mother, and the child. And this is where we're talking about the feminine and the masculine, and them coming together in us showing or being able to provide unconditional love to the child that we're raising. If we are from the 1980s raising children that do not have two-parent homes, that are married and that are committed to their family and to raising their family together, and this is increasing, like right now, or in 2023, it went up to 40%. Then that means that this is more and more children who are not receiving that unconditional love, that balanced love. They may receive a little bit more. They may receive more nurturing, but not enough discipline. They may receive more. We went over the masculine and feminine traits. So they're going to be unbalanced. That child is going to be unbalanced. And who's going to balance that back out for them? Okay, I'm gonna give you a clue here. So when our children go out into the world, let's say if we have a son, and the son is raised without the father, and just the mother, okay? And let's say our son is getting into some trouble. Who usually comes in to try to balance out that masculine that wasn't there for them? Whether it's an uncle, whether it's the people on TV, a rapper or something on TV, whether it's a football or basketball player on TV, whether it's a doctor, their doctor that they know, whether it's their friend's father. It has to be somebody. There's going to be a masculine that's going to come in and that's going to play that role model to that son that did not have the masculine in their life, that was not raised by the masculine, or that did not have a masculine there. And the last resort would be the correctional facilities, which is jail or prison. This would be the last resort. That child is going to find somebody, whatever they're missing, they're going to go and find whatever they feel that they're missing, that they think that they're missing. They're going to go to the streets, gangs, because they didn't have a father. They're going to go and find fathers in these thugs and whatever we want to call them. They're going to go and find, and those, even the thugs, they looked for fathers. They just didn't know how to close out the cycle. They just continued that cycle. And now they're raising your children. They're raising our children And, just like, me and my husband had a conversation. We say, oh, we have to just raise our kids. We can't worry about how other people raise their children. We technically, we have to worry about how others raise their children, because that's our community. There shouldn't be children that are going without things. There shouldn't be children that are being neglected, because this is our community. Those children are going to grow up one day, and they're going to be, whether it's our doctors, whether it be the business owners, they're going to become something. And whatever we're doing, whatever we are allowing in our communities, this is what we are going to see when we're older. This is who we're passing over. This is who we're passing everything down to. And so this emphasis on the marriage and understanding how important it is for this marriage to take place and for us not to have the children, try our best not to have children and not be married. And even if you have children, and let's say if you find, a wife or a husband, just marry. If you can, just talk to that person, see if they're open to marriage. God is going to send you. God has already ordained who it is that you're supposed to be with. So the more that you become who it is that God wants you to be, the quicker that person is going to walk into your life. The more that you become that person that God wants you to be, the more that you start to walk with God, start to walk with Christ, start to be like Christ, the quicker that person is going to come in. And when I say that person is going to change, it's going to help you so much. It's going to be that person that that God has sent to you, because they're going to answer every prayer that you had. That's going to be them. Everything that you didn't believe was possible, God is going to make sure that they check every box. It may be little tit-tat things, but the small things are you're going to be blinded to them. So, let me just make sure. So we're going to stay on topic here, but the closest thing to a relationship with Christ is a marriage. So the closest thing to a relationship with Christ would be your relationship that you have with your spouse. And it's important for us not to confuse the feelings with our emotions. And this is where we want to be logical, like we want to have logic. And so another thing, when you value something, you're going to treat it differently. And me being in business, I understand this so much, and I used to give away a lot of stuff for free, just free everything. And I realized that, no one really values free things. No one really values, when you give them things. There's a certain select few of people, a certain select, just a small group of people that do value free things. But it seems like people actually value things that they have to pay for. And then the higher the thing is, it seems like they value it even more, which is very weird to me. But because I value everything, even if I get things on discount, I value it, So I don't know, everybody's different, but yeah, you value the things, when you value something, you're going to treat it differently. And so that's when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to a marriage, if you value it, you're going to treat it. You're gonna put in that work, okay? You're gonna run that extra mile. You're gonna run that extra lap. You're gonna run that corner. You're gonna do a 360 when it comes to changing whatever you have to change. I'm telling you, you're gonna do whatever you have to do. But this is the crazy thing. If you're already walking with God, you're not going to have to, He's already going to be taking care of you and this person that it is that you're supposed to be with, whoever it is that you're supposed to be becoming. This is who God is getting you prepared for. It's just a matter of you being disciplined enough to do the work. And then even as a married couple, it goes on, because even and I feel like I have to do a whole nother video on that too, because there's certain things, and I want to touch bases on the difference before I close this video out. I want to touch bases on whenever you are coming into communion with your person. Many of us, we love, our mother, we love our father, right? And that's okay. We're supposed to love our mother and our father. But the Bible, and I think this is people's hardest thing, the Bible does say that you have to cling to your spouse. You have to cling to your husband. You have to cling to your wife. And you both have to become one. And I'm going to give you guys, before I close this out, I'm going to give you the definition of a relative, okay, and a family, okay, and family. And so once you're married, before you're married, you have your family, right? And those are the people that you come from, your aunts, the people that are within your lineage, right? So, but when you become married, I'm going to give you the definition, because there's two definitions. The first one is, it says family, a group of one or more parents and their children living together as a unit. So what does this mean? This means that once you become married and you have your children, this is your new family. This is the first definition. Now the second definition, so if we're going to talk about your second family here, all the descendants, so it's definition number 2, all of the descendants of a common ancestor. That's the second definition. Okay? So, first definition, meaning that once you're married, once you have your children, once you're really married, you're supposed to be clinging to your family, which is your family in your home. This is your family. So you don't want to be confused by feeling like your relatives are your family. So I'm going to give you the definition for relatives. So relatives, a person connected by blood or marriage. Okay? So relatives is a person. So relatives is a person connected to you by blood or marriage. And so what we have to understand is that your family is the one that you create. Okay? We love our loved ones that we come from, but these are not the people that we will put our focus on for the rest of our lives. Yes, we want to be there to help them. Yes, we want to be there to support them, but it should never come at the expense of your family in your home. So remember, family is in home, and the family that you're creating, that's with your wife or your husband, and then the relatives are outside your home. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and close this message out. If this video was helpful, if you could just go ahead and give it a thumbs up, a like. Please also share it with someone that you feel like needs this message. I feel like, many people need this message today. And I say these things, as much as I say it to you all, I'm saying it to myself, just as a reminder. Because my spouse and I, we talk about these things all the time. And so if you know someone that needs this message, please feel free to share it. If you have not subscribed as well, please, if you feel guided, go ahead and subscribe if this information is helpful for you. But I do thank you so much for watching. I will most likely do another video, but it will be separate. But I do thank you again for watching. You guys have a good one, and I love you.